and welcome to Gierok Farms. Today we're going to be getting ready for corn stalks. We got to pull some equipment out. We got to pull the stalk chopper out, get that greased up, ready to go. There we go. Jeez. It just has some makeshift MacGyver parts on it or something. .510's looking pretty nice. It got a bath recently. Dad did a pretty good job cleaning her up, I'd say anyways. Looking sharp. Yeah, so the plan is to get this ready to go, get everything greased up, looked over, make sure it's squared away for the next couple days here. How long ago did you buy this, Dad?
About 4 or 5 years. And the first one I had was an MC 6-row cotton shredder. That thing could shred bedding. It made sawdust out of it. And I used it a few times, and we'd try to rake up our bedding afterwards. It was like raking up corn silage that was on the ground. That's how fine it made it. I traded back because a jockey found, he would find these like several states away. I think they were just too small for where they were. So this is basically, this would be a 12-foot, 144 inches. I think that's 12 feet. And that would be for 4-row wide. And that cotton shredder was for 6 rows, so I could take 5 wide rows. So it was a little odd that way, but it didn't really matter that way. But this shreds it up more about right. You know, it's still got some
girth to it.
You can still rake it up. So if we had oodles and oodles of bedding and 200 bushel yields on those bottoms, I think that MC would have probably been fine. We'd have found plenty of bedding with that. We'd had finer stuff. Yeah, so if you didn't want to pick it back up and do something with it, that really pulverized it. So anyway, we got this, yeah, and it's a little older. So I ended up getting a little money back on the deal. So we got to grease it up. There's, I know there's a bearing in the middle underneath, and these are known to start fires in the field.
Yeah, there's so much friction there that.
And there's a lot of speed, and your material is so dry. And then my MC had, I believe we had tandem or two wheels. There was another wheel out here. And just looking at this, I'm sure they made them bigger, and they probably had that option. And then this is interesting, this hitch. I don't know if that was to pull a disc.
Yeah, I could see something like that.
A lot of iron going through the center of this machine to get to the tractor. And then to run hoses, I suppose you'd run them through here for your machine that was back here. Kind of a different deal.
Maybe one of these people know what someone would have done.
Well, it has to be something like that. I mean, this has got like these cupped flails. And I gotta think, I don't remember now what that other one had. It was a little different. They got different configurations of these you can get too. I see we got some build up here to tear out. Otherwise we used the flail chopper, which I could only take 2 rows at a time, and that worked too. And then we could flip open that part in the back where the auger was. Instead of taking it over to the blower, it just blows it out the back. That did a nice job too. It just took forever, and it's kind of hard on it. That machine isn't built very heavy for something like the amount we're doing. So the only thing with this, so then it doesn't pick up everything. Some of the stuff that's down closer to the ground, because you're driven on it with your corn picker, it doesn't really pick it up, but then the rake comes through and picks it up. So then you got these long pieces like this in with your shorter pieces anyway. But in heifer barns, it's fine. But in a dairy barn, it's a little harder to work with. It gets wrapped up in the auger or something. So it's fine for the heifer barns. And then by the time it gets so the manure goes through the slinger, you know, with the bedding pack afterwards. Now that again has got those paddles in there, so that rips it up even more. So you ended up with some pretty mulched up bedding manure after everything gets done and back out in the field.
Okay, we're gonna grease it up and look it over and make sure it's ready to go for this fall. Good. Okay, got it all greased up. Gonna check some of these compartments where these big belts are. There's these big springs that have a tensioner with these big bolts that come to the outside of the paneling, but it looks tight. The belt's got a little cracking, but it doesn't get used very much. Pretty simple machine. I think these belts will just get old before they actually wear out. Yeah. This doesn't get used that much. Plenty of tension on this one too. So yeah, as we were working on this, I thought to myself that we've got some mail from you guys. We had 2 really impressive pieces of mail that we recently got. The one was from Don Rich.
Don Rich in
Connecticut. Yeah.
What did they call it? East Haven, Connecticut, I believe. I'd have to look again, but he had 4-page letter written. He's 71 years old, used to dairy just like us. He claims he's very similar to us. He just sold his cows, I think, 2 years ago, 3. Something like that.
Something like that.
Well, he's got quite a place, and he he had quite a nice letter written up there.
Yeah, it was a beautiful letter. He told a whole story about his farming career and his family and just kind of the history of his life, which was awesome to read about.
Definitely.
That's something that we won't just throw away. That'll sit
I
around here forever.
think a fella like that, I could picture myself like that someday after, you know, because it's rare to find people that do what you do or understand how you do things.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you've been doing it so long and doing it so well.
Reading that letter and seeing the impact we had on Don, that he took the time to write a letter to us, that really means a lot.
And the penmanship was just perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, usually farmers don't have the best handwriting because of what they do with their hands all day.
But also, we wanted to mention that he has a little video of his place. Gosh, I'll have to throw the link down below, and I'll put the title up.
Just give me a second, because I'm thinking I could remember. It was it silo and barn painting, or barn and silo painting?
Something like that. I'll for sure throw it up on the screen. And then down below, but.
At Rich Farms.
And it was a beautiful place.
It looks, I mean, we're not really sure because he didn't explain in his letter, but according to the video, it almost looks like they turned it into like an ice cream shop or someplace, like maybe, I'm guessing, but you know, like a certain days of the week or certain times of the year where they'll just have the community come there. And that looked really neat. I mean, he painted his silo. He got 2 silos with Rich on one and Farm on the other, and an American flag painted on the barn roof.
It was beautiful.
And that guy farmed just like we did with the small herd and about the equivalent land and the type of machinery and the way he done it.
With his brother. He farmed
with his brother. And then right now it sounds like he's making little squares.
Yeah. And
he said 7,000 to 8,000 a year, and he's selling them to the horse industry.
And he made it sound like they're making good money out there too.
And I went back. I had to go back and look because I was trying to tell somebody, but I think $10 for second crop and $8 a bale for first crop, and I thought
I'd say around here it's probably 4 to maybe 6 on the high end.
I don't think the horse thing is quite as strong around here though, neither. But I believe it can be that. Because to make good dry hay, and especially for horses, you can't just, if you don't get it right, you probably have to find a different buyer and sell it for less.
Yeah, you can't just feed them anything.
But that was neat.
That was big shout out to Don for that. That was huge. And then we got a second piece of mail. Dad hasn't got to see it yet because it's in my fridge. But it was super interesting. We got some cheese from a man named John in the comments.
Cheese, huh?
Yeah, he used to drive a milk truck out in Michigan, I believe, and now he lives down south, kind of retired or whatever. He had some bad arthritis or something like that. Anyways, drove milk truck in Michigan, so that was cool to hear his story about that. And then he sent us some cheese from one of them creameries over there. So Dad will get to try that.
And how did that go through the mail?
He was asking in the comments if I was going to go check the box. I suppose he was worried that
that might not keep.
Yeah, so cheese, but I think we got her in time, so it's in the fridge.
Cheese has got a little bit of a shelf life, but yeah, that's good.
And a bunch of different varieties, but
it's neat to know that that people really enjoy and take it that seriously. That
we're building a community and people actually care to send something. That's huge. That's wild. So.
Because this is who we are. This whole place and everything, and I mean, I've been here 31 years with my wife, and now with Aaron, he's really showing strong interest into what we're doing here too. So it's kind of like it's neat to see that it can keep going and that we can share it now. That we've put all this energy to put this place together.
Yeah, and even when it comes to the sharing part of it, even on some of the days where we don't necessarily want to film, we still film a little something because we want to show you guys.
You know what the interesting thing is some of those videos we put together, I thought this isn't gonna get much views,
and those are the biggest ones. Yeah.
Those are the simple day that you kind of think, well, let's just go get some firewood today. Nothing, not no big planning, not really expecting anything to break down or any big excitement ends up. And I mean, we're trying to understand what the people want to see and what they. That they want to see the everyday normal, we're not just showing off the new machine.
Yeah, and the good days. We're showing you the bad and the normal and the boring, all of it. The whole experience. So.
Exactly.
But yeah, we just wanted to stop when we were doing this and thank everybody who's ever sent us mail. We've got some really cool stuff here in the past year or so, and thank you for that.
Yeah, we're keeping that stuff together.
So yeah, we're gonna try turning this on now. Make sure it doesn't fall apart on us or make a weird noise.
Right, and that's the best that we can do. So we just got done picking several days ago, and then it's rained a bit, and then sun is kind of out, and then it's kind of cloudy, a little damp yet, but it sounds like the next 6-7 days, the whole outlook looks really good. 60s, gonna be a little breezy in there. We're hoping to get some good dry corn stalks in, so kind of more about just getting it, get stuff more ready, so when we start rolling, we don't have to think about all these little details.
Nope. Say everything looks good. Sounded good. Nothing came flying out of there. So I'd say it's good to go for now.
Riska. See what this big dog is carrying around here. We had a cow go down here a couple months back, and we salvaged a bunch of it for this dog. We had a little room in the freezer. Here, come on, you gonna show these guys what you got? Come on, I'm not gonna take it. Hey, Riska. Look at that. Big hunk of beef. There really was nothing wrong with her other than she broke her hip. But she was kind of a smaller, thinner cow, so gotta make some good use out of it. See if anybody can guess what this is from. So this is a crankshaft on a machine. I don't know, like an old car. So you got, that must be a main bearing there and a main bearing there. So you got two main bearings and 1, 2, 3 pistons. And then this must have went to the drive shaft. So it was in a car like this. I don't remember where I found this. I wonder if I didn't find this in the dirt here someplace. We were digging someplace for some water line or something. We found this. But I've had this sitting outside the shop forever and never really looked at it that close before until somebody that was into motors was looking and saying, hey, it's a 3-cylinder. So anyway, if you got a pretty good guess of what, if that came out an old car, an old tractor, what do you think?
One of those M&M jars, like, you know, like how many are in there? But like, guess what that belongs to, you know?
What's the prize gonna be?
Yeah.
That's up to you.
Yeah, so leave a comment down below what you think that's from. But okay, another post-picking thing that we gotta do is we gotta put these panels in the elevator. And in the meantime, Dad's gonna go haul some manure. So when it comes to putting these panels in the elevator, the reason that we would take these out and have these grates open is so that when we're sending cob corn up the elevator, any of the shelled corn will fall out through these grates and into that big pile, and then we can put that in its own wagon instead of sending it up and into the cribs, because it's easier to shovel it out of the back of a little trailer we have made for that than to shovel it out of the bottom of the cribs later on. But having the panel in allows a guy to send like oats or other small grains up into his storage along with hay. Then it's just a nice sleek panel. So that's what those grates are for, and we're gonna slide those in quick. Well, we got those projects finished, and that's a good feeling. We got some other small odd jobs to do around here, one being servicing the 7405. It's definitely due for one. Just kind of getting things ready here before we get back out in the fields. Want to thank all of you for sticking around to the end here, and also wanted to thank all of you again who have ever sent us any mail. If you yourself wanted to send us some mail, we love reading letters. We have a P.O. box, and I'll put that down below in the description. Thank you all for the support. We'll see you next time.